the smell one up, one, smell one down, hit in the dot tick clock. I make my dog. I put we in and we okay.
When the first gets back to be in the ground and in the air. If a British or German fighter got shot, then they couldn't parachute out or crash land. What I must put, I want to the how I playing.
Our son was age 3 when we realised we couldn't understand him and no one else could understand him. We had very little help from the professionals involved with him, and it wasn't until he was 12 years of age that he got to a very specialised boarding school.
This, you know, if he'd had help earlier on, it would have saved so much trouble the rest of his life.
And the trip was quite good. Driving along the countryside.
Speaking is something most of us take for granted. For a few, however, speech itself is a problem, and with that problem comes a host of others. They say that a problem is best talked about, but if talking is the problem, who can you tell? More importantly, how can you tell? Recognition of the problem isn't always easy. Yet, if a speech or language disorder isn't detected before school age, the consequences can be very damaging. For some, only a small amount of help is needed to resolve the problems. But for others, help will be required long-term, perhaps for life. The handicap is sometimes never completely overcome. Professor Michael Rutter is a child psychiatrist at the Maudsley Hospital, London.
Difficulties in learning to speak are quite common. Perhaps as many as 1 in 20 children are not speaking in sentences by the age of 3. Severe difficulties are less common, maybe 1 in 100. Children who are going to need special help throughout their schooling, less frequent still, a bit less than 1 in 1,000. Conversation is how we get on with other people, and children who can't converse must feel very isolated. It's not surprising that they have emotional upsets which are secondary to this, but as they grow older, social demands increase, and that some of their earlier social problems become more marked.
What's been done to help these children? Well, throughout the country there are some 200 language units attached to mainstream schools. Here, teachers and speech therapists can help children with speech and language impairments. There's also a small number of residential specialist schools which exist to help the more severely disordered. One of these schools is Moor House in Oxted, Surrey, which was opened in 1947. John Lee is the principal.
Moor House is a school for children who have very specific, severe speech and language disorders. It's important to realize that they are not unintelligent children, they are not deaf, they are not physically handicapped, and they have no primary emotional disturbance. They come here for one reason, and one reason only: they are in need of intensive speech therapy. We have 80 children altogether in the school, ranging in age from 7 years to 16 years. There's a ratio of about 4 boys to 1 girl. If you were to go in to classrooms at Morehouse School, you would see some activities which are very similar to those that take place in other schools, particularly schools for children who have learning difficulties. But there are a number of aspects which are fairly unique, I think, to a school of this sort, and it is very much a curriculum based on the needs of the child and organised and coordinated by therapist and teacher together. Children with language disorders, not just the severe ones who come to Morehouse School and other schools like us, very much suffer from social isolation. They find it extremely difficult to make normal friendships. Their inability to express themselves, to understand what other people are saying, make them appear very odd to other children, and they are, and I don't think it's too strong a term, very often persecuted. And those with the severer difficulties that come away to special schools like ourselves do come with an enormous feeling, I think, of relief, and relax and begin to learn because of this.
The excellent work being done at Morehouse and other specialist schools like it continues to offer the best educational help for speech and language disordered children. But what happens when these children grow up? The world outside is very different to the protected confines of a specialist school.
Tim always had a severe speech problem. In fact, he didn't speak at all until he was 7. He spent a major part of his life, his school life, away from home, and he went to Morehouse when he was 7 and stayed there until he was 17. And this was a period of great benefit to him and to us. The staff there were really tremendous and the facilities were good as well. The problem was that Morehouse was at least 100 miles away from us, and so Tim never had the opportunity to make friends locally. And so all his friends and acquaintances lived a long way away, which has really led to quite a lonely existence for Tim since he's been home.
My friend from Morehouse, they live in Yorkshire, about 180 miles away. My other friend lives in Reading. Sometimes I find it a bit lonely. I like to see my friend more often.
When Tim left school, we managed to get him a job at the local dock. In fact, it was only just down the road, and you can see it out of the window here. It was an ideal job in a lot of ways because Tim was very fond of ships and all the things that went with them. The problem was that he did get bullied to quite an extent, particularly by the other young apprentices. And whilst with a normal person that was really no problem, Tim didn't have any way of coping with this, and it did make him very miserable.
When Tracy was at school, I didn't have anything to worry about at all because she was with teachers and people that understood her problem. When she left school, I was very worried because I knew that I wasn't going to be there. There was nobody there that understood Tracy's problem. She was more or less going to have to stand on her own feet. And she's always got very embarrassed if people haven't understood what she's been saying.
Yeah, you either go to on the boat or to the door of it, or in college you have to talk to people. Boys also have to speak better, you do the best I can.
When Tracy's going to the post office to collect her money, she gets embarrassed if any questions are asked. When she goes into the shops, if she's not understood, she gets very embarrassed, and many a time she's walked out of the shop, she's not gone back in again. We're not always there to help her.
I get a lot of help from my family and from friends. They will say if people don't understand me, I will prefer to help myself.
One organisation which exists to help the speech impaired help themselves is AVASIC, the Association for All Speech Impaired Children. Their chairman is Elizabeth Browning.
APHASIC is very concerned about instilling social skills and assertion training into the lives of these young people with these appalling problems. And when I say assertion training and social skills, I don't just mean being able to manage the public phone box. What we're talking about is gaining the skills required for making and maintaining friendships, being able to cope with people. One way of helping is the APHASIC activity weeks we run. They've been going since 1973. Each child has a helper, a friend, a companion, a challenger, who is that person's special for the whole time he's there. And this is enormously helpful because a lot of life skills training can be done on this ideal one-to-one situation. We also encourage role play, which once people have overcome their inhibitions, really is a very positive and entertaining and helpful exercise. It becomes quite real.
It's not right.
This must be right.
No, because I give you £10 and my dinner costs £4, so I need £6. But you give me £1 change.
It's maybe in the handbag.
It's nothing to do with the handbag.
This must be.
No, I think you better take the receipt and show the manager, please.
Some people no give me £5 no.
No, it's not right. Take it again and let her read it.
Very sorry, you all right.
That's okay. I made it.
That's great. That was lovely because what you did so well then was you looked straight in Tracy's eyes.
Another and recent APHASIC initiative was to take 8 school leavers, 4 boys, 4 girls, aged between 18 and 27, on a 3-week camping trip to America. And with us was an assertion trainer. And this was undoubtedly a tremendous time when all concerned, the young people and indeed the helpers, certainly gained in confidence. And certainly it was an adventure of a lifetime.
All the tickets. 5, 6, 7.
How are you actually feeling about going to America? All right. And is this the first time you've flown?
Yeah.
How are you really feeling about this flight?
Exciting.
Bit nervous.
Bit shaky.
I think the important thing is Veronica and I are going to work together so that whatever we're doing will complement each other's work. What I'd like to concentrate on is asking the young people how they cope when their speech is very poor.
We've got a daily programme of goals and a programme of helping them to practice communication skills and a speech therapist to help us as well. And now it's time to go.
Liz, you're the busy one, but can we just ask you how you're feeling about it all?
I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling fine. This is a culmination of a lot of incredible hard work. Everybody's here and we're just waiting to go and it's wonderful.
After our arrival in 83 degrees, it rained in the evening, which seemed to heighten the great illuminated adverts. We had travelled over 4,400 miles, and though conscious of how much of the States we had seen, we were all aware of the vast terrain waiting to be discovered and explored out west. None of us wanted to leave.
I think this is already important to me because you meet different people, how they live, how they talk. I'm more easy to, I can talk to people more easy now. I'm more outgoing, I do what I want to now. I say what I want to.
I enjoyed the trip to America. It was very good fun. The best holiday in my life.
Inevitably, as in any group exercise, some members gain more than others. But I think we can say that on return home, everybody felt bigger and better.
Aphasic believe this area of work is so important that they're campaigning to ensure that self-assertion training becomes more widely available. They've embarked on a 3-point plan of action. To initiate assertion training courses for everyone involved with children and young people suffering specific speech and language disorders. To run a pilot program for self-assertion training in a residential special school or language unit. And to incorporate assertion training programs into post-experience courses for teachers and speech therapists. Above all, what these children need is the opportunity to learn to communicate. But what is that without the confidence to do so?